Hey everybody, welcome to the Combo Wombo podcast. I'm here with Chipped Monk to the right of me for the first time ever. We are live and in person. What's going on, bro?
We're doing it live. We're doing it big, bro. Nothing much. We're here at my condo, the Wizard Tower, on the casting couch, living it big.
We are in Casa de Wizard Rush. Just a little blast from the past on that one. We have... he serenaded me with a nice guitar solo there.
Yeah. I was testing the mics, bro. I was testing the levels.
He gave me a drink. I don't know what's in it. I feel a little tipsy.
It's a potion, bro.
It says Red Bull. I don't know. I'm not going to show it on camera though, because when we get that sponsorship, just saying,
it gives you wangs. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
All right, guys. So this was a fucking bitch and a half to set up, though. Like, you did all the groundwork, but then there's something about USB devices and not wanting to play nice with each other, especially with a camera going over the same one.
Yeah, I got like the basic bitch USB cords, and like apparently they don't like to give data. Like, I got those for the lights, so I did like nice lights. Yeah. And when you buy LED lights, they no longer sell shit that just plugs right into the wall. So you have to buy things that are all USB. So I have like a USB power port on a power strip. And that took care of like 4 of the things. And I was like, this is fine. It'll work just the same for the camera and microphones. It does not work just the same.
You fucked us up. Yeah. I brought over an active USB extender, which was like the saving grace. I think we found that...
I had one as well. And that's what got the camera up here. Otherwise, it would have been like a bit further back.
That's true. So we figured it out. It was a mission, but we got breakfast. You know, we chilled. We had
breakfast on the lake, bro.
Yeah. That was one of those things where you can't do it digitally.
Yeah,
right? It's like you can pop it over on the green screen, you know, and just go. Yeah, I'm at the. Yeah, no one gives a shit. So
yeah, I was like, do you want to go have breakfast at this lake, dude? Because it's literally across the street. And they're like, yeah, all right. And you're like, how far is it? And like you pull out, and you're like, I'm like, dude, it's right there. And you're like, holy shit, it was right across the street. Like, yeah, dude.
So we were chilling in the hood. We definitely went into hood part of town. And I live in the suburbs now, and I grew up in the hood though. So
I used to live in the hood like 3 years ago.
Right.
So I grew up also in the hood. So I'm like, this is fine, dude. And you're like, dude, what the hell? Look at all this trash everywhere. Like this isn't right, bro.
You don't realize how bougie you are until you go back to the old neighborhood, right? And you're like, growing up, I'm like, this is all fine. This is just what the world looks like. Now I'm just like, the fuck is this trash? So, I mean, I get over it. So what have you been up to lately, bro? What have you been playing? I know you've been on that web novel grind.
Bro,
I'm sure you're still going through it.
So
I'm not going to take like 40 minutes for you to talk about it like 3 episodes ago, but we're going to just a little
good novel. Dude, this is what I've been up to, all right? It's called The Book Eating Magician, okay?
God damn it.
It's about a young magician who gets a grimoire that goes into his hand, so his hand has like a little mouth on it that eats up other magical items. It's okay. He's kind of like a goody two-shoe. Like everything he does is like...
Okay.
It's a very generic fantasy. It's like every generic fantasy trope they have. It's like really bad writing. So, I don't know. I'm pretty deep into it already.
Okay. Any gaming at all?
No, I've just been playing more mobile.
You do one mobile episode, this man's back on the crack cocaine.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't have a problem, bro. You have a problem.
I literally came to pick this man up. He had the shakes. And
I was down there like playing the game while he was coming to pick me up. I'm like, oh, he's here.
Like
I gotta get my dailies, bro.
I was like, maybe he's texting me. I'm just gonna give it a second. And I'm like, this motherfucker's playing the game right now.
I was grinding my dailies, bro.
Yeah,
you know how this shit goes.
That's all right, man. As for me, in gaming right now,
yeah, man, what you been up to? You been reading anything? You been
audiobooks? I started a new job, like day job actually. So I've been brushing up on just low level code. Just to deal with work. So I haven't been doing anything really fun. I'm near the end of Neo 2 on the stream. I was hoping to beat it this week at time of recording, but the game's longer and it's throwing bosses at me like a son of a bitch. So that's
doing like that low level coding like kind of re-inspired you to like mess with like Game Maker at all?
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where now, like before messing with Game Maker was like, it was fun and it was a hobby, right? Because my day job was so different. Yeah. Now that I'm coding or will be coding in PHP and doing some other like low level edits and stuff, it feels like work.
Yeah, you're going in there like, shit, this is a grind.
But I'm also like reacclimating myself to PHP after not having done it in a while. So
that's the one good thing I found as well. Like, because I love the idea of coding, but I'm too lazy to like sit down and learn it.
Yeah.
And about 15 years ago, I was just like, if I just spend 3 years, I could get this down. I could learn this for real. And I was like, fuck it. That's too much of a commitment. Yeah. But I've like spent like 2 to 3 months here or there, like in the last like 15 years, where I probably now have about the 3 years of knowledge built up over time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the beautiful thing. It's like you don't really lose anything. You just kind of like dust off like some of the rest. And you're like, oh yeah, this is coming back to me now.
Yeah. Yeah. See, the last time I messed with PHP, I like I was in a gaming clan for, I think it was Jedi Knight 2, actually. Shout out to SDF if anyone from the back of the day who watches this or listens. Appreciate you. Spirits of the Dragon's Flame, brother. No Force Dual Clan, but that's besides the point. But that's the last time I messed with PHP, right? And then we went to like Python and then there's some XML files and stuff like that. And then to like HTML. So getting back into it, it's just like it's mostly relearning syntax, right? Just how it actually works. Yeah. It's been fine. I feel that, so it's my day job. I worked in banking, and now I'm on the opposite end of banking. It's more of how this stuff works behind the scenes versus, helping the actual finance customers. So it's different, but the same. It's like, I liken it to, if you're going out to eat at a restaurant, you know what's in your food, right? But if you're a chef, you actually have to put it together. So you get the same, you both experience the same end result. Just one person's enjoying, the other has to make sure you enjoy it. So I'm on that other end now. It'll be good though. But yeah, it's left a little time for gaming. But Neo 2, really, really solid, man. I gotta say, right. Still probably my favorite action game right now. And Pac-Man 99, still rocking that. Still,
any VR shenanigans? Do you get back into Quake or anything? I know you like ran into a bunch of.
Oh man!
Speaking of like hardware malfunctions and like fucking setting up tomfoolery.
So I figured out why I had those issues with Quake VR. It was because for the new job, I had to set up a new VPN. Leaving that on, I couldn't connect to Steam's workshop servers. And it didn't load the new profiles, so I had to set up the controls manually, which setting up motion controls manually was a big pain in the ass because it's a trackpad for my motion controls for the Vive, and I just was too exhausted to even try. So I haven't really played much VR outside of Beat Saber and some Population 1. So I'm just getting into the game. We have 2 wins right now. So it's a battle royale game. You're actually ducking and diving. I'm shooting people. It's fun, man. I'm not big into battle royale games, but the fact that I'm in it,
you're living it.
It made it so much better. Especially because you have 3-directional audio too, right? So you're in the game. So my buddy, he's calling out. He's like, they're over to the right on the pipes. I physically look over. I see this team of 3 running on these pipes, and I'm like, oh shit! So I pull out my sniper as an op, and I'm like aiming in, and I get a headshot on a guy, and I'm like, it just feels so much more visceral, And it was good stuff. So that was one of our wins.
Just out there living, bro.
Yeah,
in the
man.
VR world.
Yeah, exactly. So VR has been doing well for shooters, especially. I feel puzzle games are really good in it, and rhythm games. We have Beat Saber, of course. We have Synth Riders, and then there's some other Pistol Whip as well. Are all like really good, just games that
I feel like VR Chat's the big killer app for that right now.
I feel like that's the killer app because it's the easiest way to like ease you into VR. But I feel when people.
It feels like a IRC chat room, gone awry.
Yeah, it really.
Like where you're deep into IRC and you're like, oh no, this is the wrong IRC chat room. This is where the weird shit happens. And every YouTube video I see, like every comp, it's like this is fucking. Why is there Uganda knuckles everywhere always? Like we all get it. It was a meme that was funny years ago.
Right. It's like that, but I feel that's mostly for people new to VR. And I'm sure like the big VR people, I know big VR streamers, like they have days dedicated to just pure VR chat because it's a good social experience. But
yeah, I feel the dream was to make it like a learning coliseum almost, where like different people could go teach different like expertise in like areas. And then everyone had to do online learning, so nobody wants to use it for that.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, yo, I have to do this already. I don't even want the VR interface for this anymore, like, because I actually have to go to online schools now, and this isn't a spot. That's what I was telling my buddy, because he's been deep into the Final Fantasy MMORPG. Okay. And he was talking about like doing a side hustle. He's like, oh, I'm thinking about teaching people English in like other countries, because he speaks like Russian, Vietnamese, like a little bit of Chinese, and like I think like 2 other languages. And he's like, I could like get like some side money teaching people English there. And I was like, bro, what if you teach people English in Final Fantasy Online and then charge them like their gil or whatever? Like I forgot what their money's called, and it's not gil, but you know, Final Fantasy. I'm like, charge us digital monies for your time and then just hold the classes in the MMO. And he's like, that's pretty ridiculous. He's like, I don't know. And I was like, just do it, bro. Do it. Nobody else is doing that.
Well, one thing I want to mention, Second Life, right? Like it's basically VR chat before VR chat of Second Life. So there's no like magic or anything. You're just living. It's, you know, and the thing
I almost got into modding for Second Life because it was so open. It was like, it seemed like everybody just wanted like weird, by the time I got into it, like bondage and sex stuff, or it was like, and I was like, I could 3D model this. There's like plenty of like decent paying jobs where it was like, hey, can somebody, you know, model like this? And I'm like, I could model that. And they're like, I will pay you $100. And I was like, that's not bad money. Shit.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I feel like Second Life, and by virtue of evolution, VR chat just really helps, because human beings, people are inherently weird and they don't want to be kink shamed. So the fact that it's them but not them in this virtual area, they feel more comfortable with it. And I think that's why, like, and you know, and in every form of media, sex sells.
Well, not even necessarily. It's kind of like you're saying. It just gives you like there's plenty of like RP servers. I got into like a GTA Online, like the roleplay servers, where it was like my buddy, he was roleplay as like Frankie Dukes from the Kumite like Bloodsport, like, and so like we were running like underground Bloodsport games there. Like we met up like at the tracks there, and like we were like having people like boxed to death, but like to like get there, like you had to like go to like 3 different places and meet different people who'd give you a new location to go to like get to the underground Kumites.
There it is.
And like would do gambling. So I don't know, like I think like if you have like that mentality of like wanting to role play or like just like have some sort of escapism, it isn't necessarily like, oh, like they're even necessarily into a kink, but they're like, oh, I'm trying to like escape like the doldrum. Like, I mean, like people talk shit about like romance novels, but like those are like the biggest selling novels out there. It's kind of like the untold secret is romance novels are like damn near like the best selling novels out there.
True. Yeah.
Porn sells is what I'm saying.
Porn does sell, but I know what everyone's thinking. It's like,
it's escapism.
Damn it, this Combo Wombo episode, they're just talking about porn games. We're not, I swear.
VR chat is not
a porn game. There's stuff in it. That's
you can also, like, they have, like, on Fiverr as well, like, a lot of side hustle for 3D modeling as well for that, where, like, people are like, oh, I want, like, this, like, anime person, or, like, I want me transformed into an anime character, like, for VR chat, and then people go out and do it, and, like, there's, like, a whole cottage industry around like that escapism and like creating like an avatar of like yourself or like your idealized or fantasized self. Like some people want to be a Uganda Joe, like Knuckles. Some people want to be like a dragon with like an 8-foot rocket hands that like punch thing. Like who knows?
I think the worst part, like for me, and so today's episode's about MMOs. Let's just get that out of the way.
I feel like we're just like without even saying it. Like,
you think that people know it? I don't know.
I don't think that it matters. Like,
I think it does, but
people want to know. Like, it's gonna be in the title. Like,
I'm not putting it in the title this time, man. I'm just gonna leave it and be still like, we talk. No, I'm fucking with you.
You're just surprised. No. You're just like surprised. These MMOs. You're like, oh shit! I was just into the Combo Wombo, and whatever happens, happens, baby. Just blindfold me up.
For sure. But I just wanted to say, like, MMOs are such a big genre, and they really became in vogue. At the turn of the century, with EverQuest, Ultima Online was definitely a pioneer from it, and it just grew and grew. People thought EverQuest was untouchable, you know. Then EverQuest 2 came out and kind of stumbled out of the gate, and eventually we get the juggernaut that is World of Warcraft, Which, to be honest, man, I'm salty World of Warcraft exists. And
I never got into... Did you ever play World of Warcraft?
No, I haven't.
I did the free 30-day trial, and it wasn't for me, man. I was like, this is... So my one buddy was super into it, and like he was like one of the guild first clans or whatever. So they did like all these different raids first in the world, like when the game first came out.
Yep.
And like he got into... because we're still in high school, like selling his account to like keep going. And so like he would eBay his accounts for like literally thousands of dollars because like he had so much rare gear.
Wow. Yeah.
So like when I heard that, I was like, maybe I fucks with fucking World of Warcraft. Right. I don't know. Like this seems all right. Like if you tell me I can make money playing this video game, I'm down for that.
It's true.
It's true. But yeah, so he tried to get me into it. And then like I was like, this game kind of fucking sucks, dude. And then he was like, no, you just have to download all these add-ons that make the game playable. And I looked into it like about a year ago because I was like into like Osmond Gold reacts videos.
Sure.
He's kind of like a Twitch streamer.
Yep.
He plays a lot of World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft still looks fun, but it's still a bunch of fucking add-ons you still have to download to play the game. I'm like, why haven't they fucking fixed these like interface problems?
I think people just got used to it because I've seen vanilla like play of WoW, and that just brings me to what doesn't work for me with World of Warcraft in general, because growing up, and we said this on the RTS episode, was Warcraft 2 was one of my first RTSs. Absolutely love the story, absolutely love the gameplay. Warcraft 3, also a banger. And like you touched on this when we mentioned the RTS episode, is when you're all like, World of Warcraft 2, you instinctively said World of Warcraft because it became so big, people forget where it came from. People forget that it's an RTS first, that all these characters that you know and love were from the RTS.
The modern game, there's no more war, there's no more crafting. The world has basically been like pummelized again and again. Like they don't give a shit about the lore or the story. It's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah. That's my own personal hang up. But why MMOs really work, and I feel this is a perfect time to talk about MMOs as well, because we're a year into the pandemic, almost to the date actually, and at least in the U.S. where everything shut down.
The year anniversary of the 2-week shutdown.
Yeah, the 2-week shutdown. And what happened, man? WoW subscriptions went up. Other free-to-play MMOs went up.
People have nothing to do, virtual learning.
Nothing to do, but people want social like fun. You know?
We're social creatures, man. We need like physical like social interactions, either like in some sort of like space. Like that's what I was telling you. Like my one buddy who's just like he did like, I'm sick of fucking work. I just want to play like this MMO all day. I was like, yeah, bro, me too. Like if shit was free, I would be 100% there with you, dude. I would join your clan. Like I don't give a fuck, bro. Like video games are fun. MMOs are definitely like you're saying, like a possibility space where it's like you can do anything in them, where it's like it can be a chat room, it can be like you're raiding, you can be building a guild, building alliances, like you can go to like a digital war where there's like not as high stakes as like, you know, like you can have like a place to resolve conflicts that like you get into or whatever. Like it's definitely no other genre of game does anything like it.
True. And that's what I wanted to bring up. The social contact is great. I think that you have, thousands of players per world or server, however your MMO of choice flavors it.
The shards.
It's incredible. Now, I will say MMOs don't work for me as a person. The slow drip of just instant gratification of leveling, gold more gold, the little blips and blops that come out and just like a casino that flood your senses to make you go, okay, keep going.
I gotta get the next one.
That doesn't work for me, but also like the casino games don't work for me. Like I'm like, okay, there's a bunch of shit. I know it's just a UI thing, so I just keep going. I realize I'm in the minority for that.
Yeah, I mean that shit work. Like I enjoy like a good. I mean, I'm still fucking on the mobile crap, bro.
Yeah.
Like I never really got into World of Warcraft because I was playing Lineage 2.
Yeah.
And in Lineage 2, they wanted to make crafting viable for like the dwarf class. So the drop rate of like physical items was fucking ridiculous. Like it was like literally like I got like a Sword of Revolution, and I want to say like the drop rate for that was like 1 in like 200,000. And so like I was losing my fucking mind. I was like, holy shit, it's a full, like that sword goes for like 2 million of the gold coins or whatever, which is a lot of fucking money in that game because like you're farming up maybe 20,000 gold an hour in that game. So like it's insane. And I know like for mobile games, I think they had to pass a law in the EU where they had to show drop rates.
Yes.
For their surprise mechanics of loot boxes. Yep. So I know like for certain, then like everyone was shocked. They're like, holy fuck, to get like a 5-star monster, it's like 0.00003% chance. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like they've always don't put money into these like expecting you're going to hit it big, dude. Yeah. That's like buying like scratchers and being like, if I put like $300, my chances of getting it back are even better. It's like, no, you're going to lose all that money. Even if you hit the big number, you've invested so much money or so much time where like you're not getting back. The house always wins. Like even like the best odd game I think is like blackjack if you're playing perfect.
Yes.
The odds are only like 48% in your favor. Like if you're doing like perfect game theory or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like that 2% is where the house makes the money still.
Yep.
Like you're not going to beat it.
Yeah. It's incredible. Now, let me ask you this. Is the reason why you kept up with Lineage 2 is because you got that super rare drop?
No, I liked it for that game. Like we kind of covered this before when we talked a little bit about battle royales. That game was kind of like the OG first battle royale where you could fight anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Okay.
And they had like a karma system. So if you killed somebody who wasn't trying to fight you, you would go red and you had to like work off your karma by killing monsters to go white again. But while you're red, you're basically a piñata. So if somebody came up and killed you for like being evil, like all of your gear fucking exploded off of you. So like so it was great. And like the eviler you were, like the more shit you drop.
Okay.
So that's where like so the drop rates were so bad for monsters where it's like winning a scratcher. So people would just like basically be camping out waiting for people to like turn red or try and trick them into going red.
Okay.
To fucking all turn and kill that person. So it's kind of like a balance thing where it's like if you go red, everybody's your enemy. So be prepared to fight like 20, 30 people deep. And that's fun. So we figured out a way behind that because the game was based on, you know, whatever math was happening in the background is made for fighting monsters, not people.
Okay.
So there's like dagger users and like crit damage doesn't take into account your weapon. So it only takes into account like the skill plus crit damage, the attribute percentage.
Okay.
So you could roll around with like the worst dagger in the game and just be completely naked and still do like 3,000 or 4,000 damage, which is enough to like one shot most people. So you just like, so as soon as I figured that out, like also only about a week later, you saw about like 40 or 50 naked people running around with just daggers.
Yeah.
There's just like an evil dagger naked like gamer group like that happened. I feel mostly because of me and my one buddy.
Gotcha. Okay. So I will say, so it's that experience, right?
Yeah.
That you remember it fondly. You kept playing to continue that experience.
Jaw jacking fools in the woods, running 20 deep, bro.
Yeah. Now, the other thing with MMOs that, and I'm saying this is just a complete open-minded thing. I'm just saying my experience, and then I'm not shitting on it just in case anyone thinks I am. I find, especially early 2000s MMOs, the combat absurdly simple to the point where I'm like, why am I playing this? Whereas just clicking, wait for it to be done. Other people will say, oh, you got to have hotkeys, you got to have like quick things to continue sorting your skills and things like that, and then timing those. Has the stale combat, like, did that ruin part of it for you, or is that why you don't play MMOs now?
Yeah, I feel like for like the highest, I think that's why I didn't get into World of Warcraft.
Okay.
Lineage 2 had basic combat, and then there was like high level PvP combat.
Okay.
Where like you had to understand, like you could kill people as a healer in that game, but it was because healers got proficiency in light armor and like every weapon. Okay. So like you could like root down another character and then have hotbarred on light armor and then switch to like a bow and just start like pegging somebody with like a bow and then like reroute them and then just keep like hitting them with the bow. And then like when they finally break free and like hit you once, like you just heal yourself, reroute them. And like it was like a super cheesy ass way to kill somebody.
Yeah.
But it worked. So like you could kill, you'd just be there like 1v4, 1v3 and like winning that fight. Just be like completely skill based.
Okay.
So there was like high level stuff that happened end game.
Sure.
I would say most monster shit is exactly what you're saying. And I brought this point up to some of my buddies when I was playing Summoner's War.
Okay.
Because they have like the auto battle mode.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this game is basically an MMORPG. And they're like, what do you mean? No, it's not. Oh, this is fucking stupid. I was like, dude, like you just weren't paying attention. Like this is the exact loop.
Surprise.
Surprise, motherfucker. You're doing this exact same shit, like combat wise. The only better, like I was like, this is kind of like the penultimate MMORPG with a lot of those games where it's like just the auto run, like just like click, do the grind for me. And then I want to do the high level combat in the arena and in the Guild War. Okay. And like, yeah, speaking of Guild War, like Guild Wars was kind of like an offshoot of Lineage 2. And like, it kind of also had that same thing where it was like, it took away a lot of the grinding. It was just like, let's focus on PvP and like an arena based fight.
Now, do you think, so I'm glad you brought up Guild Wars because
NCSoft also made Lineage 2.
That is kind of started the evolution of the MMO. They took out the monthly fee.
Yeah. Free to play.
They focused on like PvP, like you said, and I believe every one of their expansions was free. Is that correct?
I want to say so. And they might have tried to charge for that first one or something.
Yeah.
And people freaked out. They're like, oh my God, it's not free.
Yeah. So Guild Wars 2 is still going strong as far as I know. Is Lineage still going? I feel they shifted to mobile, right?
They changed it to free to play as well at some point. Okay. And then they came out with a couple of mobile games.
Okay.
I haven't gotten into it. Like, honestly, all I'm doing is working right now to save up enough money for retirement so I can just go back into Lineage. Hopefully when it's like Lineage 3 or something and it's like all VR.
Yeah.
That's, that'd be ideal, dude. Like, if just give me like a feeding tube in like a bed and like give me the full gear shit where just drop me in there.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like, I think most Japanese, like, isekai anime and not like Sword Art Online shit, like I'm 90% sure that shit's based on Lineage 2. Like a lot of the shit that happens and I'm like, I know exactly what that is and then what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Like,
No, MMO started off with just a big fantasy focus. They, World of Warcraft has orcs, dwarves, dark, and things like that, like just general fantasy stuff. Lineage also has elves, dark elves. They have orcs dwarves, as well, right? And dwarves, yeah. So just classic like Tolkien style fantasy. There's sci-fi as well.
Yeah, like your Eve's Online.
Eve Online is
What's the other huge like Kickstarter game that it's like they raised $350 million? It's like the biggest game that's never came out. People are like, it might be a money scheme.
Is that the Amazon one, Secret World?
No, dude, like this is like...
or not Secret World, the New World.
We'll figure it out. Like
it's on there.
I think, am I editing this one?
Yeah, you are.
All right, yeah, it'll be like...
It's not going to be there. He doesn't put things on.
It'll be right here.
So I want to touch on non-traditional MMOs. We have sci-fi stuff like Star Wars Galaxies, Star Wars: The Old Republic, Star Trek Online, EVE Online.
I want to fuck with the Star Wars game. I know that one free to play.
It did. I
heard it actually like a pretty decent like story mode.
Yeah, they brought back Revan. They had a whole like Shadow of Revan mode, which Knights of the Old Republic was one of my favorite RPGs ever. So just exploring that story more appeals to me. But the fact that it's an MMO does not, because I assume I'm going to have to like fight grunts for the first 20 hours and then finally get to some sort of story.
Yeah, and like they all kind of use. I want to say it was like EverQuest came up with that, like that.
Yeah, Fetch Quest.
No, like that XP ramp.
Yeah,
they figured out like the penultimate like way to make you like fucking addicted to the game.
Yeah,
which is like the Skinner box where it's like the XP goes like
you're killing rabbits.
Yeah, it's like a parabola or whatever, like the exponential growth chart, and like every once in a while it just dips back down where you're like, oh, I can get my level again easy, and then it's like twice as much XP for like the next level before like your class change quest or some shit.
Yeah, but so EVE Online, I want to touch on.
I'm saying it's nefarious down to like the XP in a lot of these games.
Oh yeah,
it's
I think you're right.
It's predatory even into that nature where like the drops are like a fucking gimmick to get you like and play with like your give me that random loot chance. And the XP is also like that as well, where it's like, oh, I got a level. And then you're like, oh, fuck, when do I get this next level?
Yeah.
And like, oh, I got it finally.
Right. So EVE Online.
They're
Whales
hiring economists.
Yeah. It's economists. Whales kind of, I feel, run that game. But then also, if you're a lowly starter ship, you join a big faction. Everyone pours money in to grind up to build real world money ships. That some of these ships cost like tens of thousands of dollars. I think for like a capital ship. And people love this because PvP is like always on. It's all player controlled economy. It's all piracy. There's these clans that legitimately sit on the outer skirts of the galaxy and jump players to steal their shit. The biggest things in EVE are social espionage, where you join a clan, you rise up in the ranks, you become like leader of the clan's bank, and then you siphon that off to some other clan or yourself. You steal with a bunch, you leave with a bunch of their money.
It's an inside job.
You straight rob these people of real life value. Now, I think EVE Online is touching on the point to where MMOs are kind of going, but also it can get to, I feel the people who play EVE Online, that's what they want, that's what they love. But I think people who have that addictive personality for gambling and things like that, it could be pretty dangerous. How do you feel about MMOs that are dipping into your wallet even harder than a monthly subscription?
Me personally, I want to say I'm a capitalist at the end of the day. I want to say if that's what they want to do, that's their freedom to ruin their life in that way. But also, I feel like a lot of people just don't know, right? Okay. I think a lot of people think of addiction as something physically that they're doing, like taking some sort of substance, like pills, or they're smoking something, they're drinking something. I think there's a lot of social stigmas on people who have issues. Where the truth is most people are functional, dependent. If they're drinking, they're still going to work. They're still a productive member of society. They're not bad people, right? They're just falling down an escapism, and it's damaging themselves, their relationships. So I think that people don't necessarily go to things like gambling, things that seem less nefarious than scratchers, and I would say even those are worse than a casino gambling, because if you want to go down to Chip's conspiracy corner, I think federally states do not have to have truth in advertising laws for state gambling, so they get a pass for it.
Okay,
they're just we don't have to have truth in that. So half the time, I don't know if you ever seen that movie, The Island, where it's they have a fake lottery and the person's getting organ harvest.
Yep.
So half the time when I see pictures and shit of people, I'm I wonder if they're real people or just paid actors, because they don't have to have the truth in advertising for a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
And so the odds might not even be fucking real, for the state ones.
Interesting.
So I'm no mathematician. I'm not saying that they're not, but I'm saying they don't have to be, because of they bypass those laws.
Yeah.
And so you have to have government intervention almost, like you saw in the EU with we kind of joked about EA being oh, the surprise mechanics
for the loot boxes.
The loot boxes and shit. It's clearly they're making a lot of money. I think it's something $35 billion they've already made this year in mobile game money. So it's real fucking money that they're siphoning out of people.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts, dude.
No,
so I don't know how I feel about it. I'm just saying it's fucking crazy. I try not to.
It's just crazy. Yeah.
I was eyeing that fucking monthly pass the other day where it's it's $20. I could I get a lot of star value out of this. This is
Yep.
This wouldn't be too bad. I dropped $20 on a fucking pizza, dude.
I dropped $20 on the mobile games too. Just jonesing.
Just getting them scratchers in the mobile. I'm this could power up my whole squad right here. This could be a game changer, dude.
It's true. Now, free to play is taking MMO style of monetization. Most ones that are accepted are cosmetics. You have League of Legends with your skins. You have most fighting games are they're arcade roots. They're basically the first arcades are the first microtransaction.
Didn't Tekken just get a new character?
Tekken did just get a new character. Their final battle pass was out, or rumored final. So microtransactions are happening. They're more the norm now. Some of the MMO scummier practices are being replaced by free to play because they realize that skins are cheap, easy to make, and you can just load up on a bunch of skins because people like looking pretty. So
yeah, I like to look good, man.
True. Now,
if like you're staring at the same character and you're playing something for hours, you're like, well, we'll mix it up a bit.
As a fighting game player, I don't change. Like, default. It's like Street Fighter, I go straight to Ken. I don't look at anybody else. Mortal Kombat 11, I'm Kung Lao. Don't look at anybody else. It's it's just there. But like I said, I'm not the norm. Now,
I think I've dropped a little bit of money in League of Legends on some skins.
Same.
Well.
No. I also like looking pretty. Let's be honest.
Man.
But from where I am to where a lot of people who are into these things, and there's nothing wrong with dropping money on what you like. Like I'm not judging you for buying a coffee every day. It's the same thing.
It's also like the kind of like the backhanded way they got into a lot of this as well. Is they're like, this wouldn't be part of the game otherwise. Right?
Yeah.
So like they did this a lot for a lot of DLC early on, or like season passes, where they're like, hey, we want to add like this, we want to have a value add that wouldn't be part of the game unless we got some revenue somehow for this.
Yeah.
And so you're basically paying them to make it. And like, so like, where do you draw the line? Like, because like they've been ultra successful doing that. And so I think like cosmetic, like you're saying, is like, I'd rather have that. I'd rather have like straightforward like transaction.
Yeah.
Like I talked a little bit about that for Hearthstone when I paid money for a card and I was like, I quit that game because they nerfed and took away my card.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck you guys. Like you promised me this card. I just wanted that card. You knew what this was, fucker. Like, you knew you made a fucking OP ass card and that's why I bought it, dude.
Right.
Like the same thing happens in Magic the Gathering, but they just ban the card. Like they don't come and physically take away your cards.
Right.
So I think like the skins, kind of get you in it, but then there's like all these layers of nefarious practices above that where it's like have a chance to get a skin shard, and then if you get 15 of those, maybe you get a chance at like a prize box at that month at a drawing, and then your odds are 0.00002% of getting what you want. And that sounds like a great deal, and like our brains aren't built for that like bullshit.
Yeah
So you're basically being beat by like a confidence man, like a con. Yep. It's basically 3-card Monty, right? Where they're shuffling up, they're obfuscating like the transaction. Instead of $9.99, it's like 200 gems, right?
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, $10 for this, like that's fine. I want to do that deal, and I'm okay with that. It's where they trick our fucking brains to be like, oh, you get this $19.95 gem pack, you get a monthly pass, and then you unlock. If you get to the 5th tier, Illuminati Inner Circle, then you get a chance to pull this cord. And that cord has an odds of like winning a scratcher at your local game. Then you go down 2 blocks, right? So it's all the fucking shady business practices on top of like the straightforward transaction of like, I think most people, if you ask them like, do you mind like paying money for a skin? Like cash money, they're like, no, that's fine. Yeah. If you ask them like, hey, would you mind paying money for a character? They're like, no, that's okay. I wouldn't mind like paying money for a character.
Sure.
I think where it gets fucking scummy is where it becomes like loot boxes where you're trading money in for like a fucking carnival. Carnival currency.
Yeah.
I remember I went to this fucking, there's a street fair on the west side.
Yeah.
And like they had like all these different vendors set up. And like they had like tickets. You had to buy tickets for shit. And like I just like walked up to the guy. I was like, hey man, let me get, I want some of these tamales and a couple of tacos and stuff. Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah, that'll be 15 tickets. I'm like, bro, can I just give you like $10? And he's like, yeah, all right.
Tickets mean nothing.
Yeah. I was like, this is cash money. He's like, oh, I'm not supposed to, bro. I'm like, can I just like slide the money over? And he was like, shh. I was like, you're getting a better value add and like, you don't have to deal with fucking ticket bullshit, bro.
Yeah. That's an interesting point, man. Now, I don't think MMOs are inherently scummy, but I think that the advent of them really brought out corporations like they live in your pocket now is my
they're too successful, man. They get too much money.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Now, MMOs on the game dev side of it, it sucks because it's such a double-edged sword. like I feel a lot of people who are getting into game dev, who do indie game dev, like they like the biggest thing that you find if you look on like /r game dev on Reddit is I want to make an MMO. I want to make what's the other big one, like a big mobile game that's like a Angry Birds ripoff or something like that. Don't. That's like the easiest thing I can tell you. MMOs, the infrastructure alone is ridiculous. Your first game as an MMO, you don't have any experience with like online play, persistent worlds, balancing, a larger XP system, a larger just battle system,
managing items.
Managing items across multiple servers and spaces. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just you're going to be better off working on something else. Don't want to make an MMO? How about you you want to still make an RPG and get your story out there? Make a traditional RPG, and you could streamline it.
Hit up like it's RPG Maker, dude. Like, use like and like be like, oh, when you look out the box, like, oh, it's gonna look like every other RPG out there.
Yeah,
I would say the majority of people who like end up getting it don't end up finishing their fucking game.
True.
So like imagine the heartbreak of like learning all these other like systems and like things for like an MMORPG when you can even get like your basic pen and paper RPG like up and running. Like just pen and paper, man. Like do like a D&D campaign. Like sit down and like navigate out like a simple like D&D campaign. It'll be like design a dungeon, design like different encounters, try and like balance that for like levels. Like
exactly.
Just like start with pen and paper and don't be like, oh, MMORPGs, that's the way. Because like we talked about this a little bit at one point where I was like, great writing prompts. We talked about like in like horror genre and stuff. Why does everybody want to make like a horror game? Why does everybody want to make like a MMORPG style game? Is because like they're great prompts for making something bigger and better. When you like see something, you're like, oh, this inspires me this way, and I want to make like this or that. And I think people see that and they're like, I want to do that. Or like I have like this idea from that.
Yeah.
Or I have like this interest. And like, I mean, like you can look at like Dota or League of Legends. Like those are all like mods that spun off of,
True.
RTSs where it's like, so there's precedent for being in like the battle royales, those were inspired by, like Arma mods,
Yep.
So, maybe like start with like a mod, start with like pen and paper, start with like, use something that's already has like all the infrastructure and stuff and like build up from there. Or
so
is what I'm saying. Like don't try and make the MMORPG like from the ground up.
What's interesting is you said starting in mods. So people looking to get into game design and stuff, the top 3 games right now that I can think of, let's say League of Legends started off as a mod. Counter-Strike was most famous for starting off as a mod for Half-Life. We'll go Team Fortress started off as a mod for Quake. It's Rocket League started off as a mod for Unreal Tournament. It's you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to, put your full mind, body, soul into one thing and learning something else. Take your idea, streamline it, use the tools in front of you. Like, people who made Counter-Strike, free tools using the Half-Life engine. The people who made Team Fortress, free tools using the Quake engine. And game dev so far has been so much better at cost of entry. There's resources online. There's wonderful gaming communities out there in Discord and Reddit. The Game Sutra is a wonderful resource. And I've had this question before when you meet someone else and it's like, oh, what are your hobbies? It's like, oh, and one time I was playing a mobile game that we worked on, and people are like, oh, you made that? I was like, yeah. They're like, can you make this MMO? No, man, I'm not going to make the thing that you just came up with on the top of your head.
There's no such thing as an idea guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one trope, and I feel anyone watching this for the game dev side of it, that's the one. If you don't take away anything from us, take this away. Don't latch on to or don't cater to people who are the idea guy.
Yeah.
They're not going to do shit for you. They're going to go, hey, I want this system. I want this system. Can you get it done tomorrow? No, man, it takes time. I have to model this. I have to code this. I have to figure shit out on how it works. I'm not doing any of that.
Yeah. And I would also say, like, when you're like looking for like a partnership or something, like if you're an artist or a programmer, I would say start with like small deliverables. Mm-hmm. And if like they can't fulfill like their end of the side, like don't just walk away.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey man, thanks for your time, but like, I'm gonna go a different direction with this. Because like I've had projects where like I've made a bunch of 3D assets, and the person never uses it. I've done stuff for like 2D stuff, where like I've tried like game jams with different people like online. And I'm like, okay, here's all this stuff. I got everything ready, and they're like, it needs to be changed like the width. And I was like, all right, hold on one second. I like edit, change all the side, and then send it back over. And they're like, I'm gonna get right on it. And then like I saw on Discord, it was like playing World of Warcraft, and I was like, oh, this motherfucker's not finishing this for this game jam, dude. Like it is over, bro. But yeah, so it's like it's definitely hard to find good collaboration with people, and you're definitely gonna need to collaborate with a lot of people if you're trying to build like some sort of like an MMO.
Yes.
And I would also say like start small and then figure out what you want to do, because I see like a lot of people also being like, I want to make a video game engine.
Oh yeah.
They're like, I want to make a game, but I got to build the engine first. I'm like, just use the fucking ones that are out there, bro. What the fuck? Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to like build a video game engine or like building a game engine, but
the wheel already exists.
Well, I would say like that's what you want to do then. Don't say you want to make a fucking video game, because it's going to take you 3 to 5 years to make like a good video game engine.
Yep.
Or you could use one that's already working today, and it's not going to be great. But it's going to do everything you need it to do. And it's going to have a community that's probably solved any of the problems or issues that you're running into with it.
Yeah.
So I think like good tutorials, good documentation, good support, like figuring out how to like get things in and out. Like somebody's figured it out already.
Yeah.
Like, stop reinventing the wheel.
Right. Exactly. It's the one thing to take from this. Don't reinvent the wheel.
I mean, like I know like Jonathan Blow's been working on his game engine now.
Yeah. I feel like he makes engines for each game though, right?
He's been trying to make a new one since The Witness.
Oh, The Witness. Was that him? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And his whole thing is trying to minimize the time for compiling and like how long things take. Because he's coming out from like a programmer side, but he also has the money and the team and the experience to like try and tackle something like that. But I almost feel like it was like a foolish endeavor from the jump, because eventually everybody else is going to do that anyway. So like, even right now, like in Unity, they have like Unity Tiny coming out, which is exactly what he's been trying to do now.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, dude, like this other team that has billions of dollars is also working on that, dude. Like, he's basically saying like there's not enough like optimization. Like he's like, when you start up Photoshop, why does it take so fucking long? He's like, it's a simple photo editing software. Like it shouldn't take me like 30 seconds to a minute to like open this shit up, dude. I have a really good computer.
Yeah.
And that's valid.
It is. That brings my next point. I feel like we were kind of a little negative on don't make an MMO. The other thing is set yourself reasonable expectations, and I think Jonathan Blow's current project is a really good thing. Yes, Unity's making something designed with the same standpoint that Jonathan Blow
it wasn't when he started, though.
But that doesn't make, just because Unity's trying it, doesn't make what Jonathan Blow is doing invalid. I'll look in the VR space right now. Virtual Desktop exists. I forget the other streaming application, but Virtual Desktop exists, was the more popular one for wireless PC VR streaming. Oculus, after a year of the Quest 2 being out, finally this week, at the time of recording this, released AirLink. It does essentially the same thing that Virtual Desktop was doing. So it makes and it's free, so it makes Virtual Desktop kind of useless, but for the time that this existed, what else did you have? Yeah. We don't know when Unity is going to be done with this. We don't know if their implementation is going to be the best implementation of this. It doesn't make what Jonathan Blow is doing invalid. It doesn't make what the Virtual Desktop guys are doing invalid.
Yeah, but I would also say, like, he's already starting with his goal in mind. Yeah. Right. He's not like, oh, I'm going to make a MMORPG, but first I need to make an engine. Like he's like, I want to make a puzzle game, and I also want to make a engine that's going to be optimized on the back end, and it's going to run buttery smooth on a variety of things, and it's going to streamline coding. So he's already has like his principles of implementation ready. Yeah. And like specifically for his needs and team. And there's nothing, I would say, like, have that like your hit list of what you want to get done. Like if you're trying to make like an or if you want to make an MMORPG, like what is your unique like gimmick? and then just make that. Fuck the MMORPG part.
Yeah.
And then just like make your gimmick. And then like if that's really good and compelling, then you can think about like building a bigger game out of that, like an RPG or whatever it is going to be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Now let's go back to the MMO aspect too. I think that branching off from the RPG aspect of MMOs is where the future's headed. It's where we're already at with certain games. I think if we look at something like Battlefield, right? It started off with 64 players. That's at that point in time, that's a big ass instance world for when that game came out. It's still huge. Have you played a Battlefield game with a full lobby?
No, dude, it's too much.
Fucking nuts. So, PlanetSide, MMO FPS, one of the first MMO FPSs. There's one that predates it, which I believe was just called World War or something like that.
Sounds right.
Yeah. No, that one really just focused on lag compensation, focused on server distribution, where people played in the world, so you could have a world that, you know, you weren't just stuttering for the entirety of it, and engine optimization, because when you have, I believe, PlanetSide, you could have, I wanted to say it was like 256 players in the original game. It's been too long since I've tried it. It may have been thousands, actually, or maybe it's PlanetSide 2 that could have thousands on the same server. Now, you're doing so much in that game. You're doing, projectile calculation. Not every weapon is a hit scan weapon. You have true, bullets going out in a lot of these weapons. You have vehicles. You have, just all these explosions being calculated. And why? I think that whatever your opinion of PlanetSide is, you can't discount how unique it is in that space. And no other MMO has really touched on what it touched on. And I think that taking that mass amount of people into a different genre is where the future of MMOs will be.
Yeah.
We have the latest one is Enlisted, I think, and I think that's like another highly populated free to play World War II shooter coming.
I think a lot of people are trying it, and basically, I would also it's a good thing to also warn about is like these MMOs are extremely expensive to make, and a lot of them fucking fail. Like a lot of studios have shuttered. A lot of people went for that brass ring of World of Warcraft.
Yep.
And you never hear about them again. A lot of companies went bankrupt. A lot of studios, it's a lot of just assets just out there. And you never hear about them. And yeah, man. So I wouldn't bet, if somebody wanted me to invest and they're like, I got an MMORPG, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, bro. I miss me with that, bro.
Yeah. Is there anything in the massively multiplayer online world that hasn't been done yet that you would like to see?
Shit. I would. So if we're speaking about the future and where things are going, where I think things are going are natural algorithm parsing language, where you can just talk to a computer, kind of holodeck style. And so
for you. Okay.
Yeah. So my thing is, because I was fucking around in Unity, and they have a plugin for Watson now, where you can give it logic and questions.
Yep.
And then they also have a plugin for speech to text. And so I was like, how come I can't just control a player and RP a different character?
Yep.
And then the game records that and creates an avatar of that. So you could go in and RP a shopkeeper, and then the game records your interactions, and then picks the best answers when another person comes in to deal with your avatar.
Yeah.
So I could see something where you build avatars in a game, and then you collect coins or some shit, that game currency money, for your avatar AIs that other people can buy or use or trade with. So I see something like that, natural language that builds a story around it.
So yours isn't even really a traditional game. It's yours is more of a social.
Yeah, mine's more creating a virtual dungeon master. If you've ever played D&D, where a dungeon master is I
know what they are, but I haven't played D&D.
Yeah, so a dungeon master will set up something where you head into a town. There's several shops or whatever.
Yep.
So it kind of explains things to you. So my thing would be creating a brain computer to do that for you. Where you're I want to go and it could be any type of setting or whatever. But to me, I think because I play a lot of GTA 5 RP, I personally feel 25 to 50 people is kind of the perfect experience for that, where there's like other shit going on in the world.
Sure.
But like you can be with a group of like 3 to 5 people and like have a really compelling experience, and then you run into like other people, and like you have that interaction. So I think like a small like 50-person server like that, where you basically have a virtual dungeon master that like generates things based on like everybody's feedback in real time.
Oh, interesting.
And I feel like the pieces are there, but nobody's really doing that yet. So I think if you take like what NVIDIA is doing with like their AI learning, where they can take like you can like drop in suggestions and it'll like try and create like a portrait or like a 3D model based on that. They have like shit for like cities and stuff now, where like they can take like a car and have it driving around based off of footage. I could see like that. I don't know. What about you, man?
I think the thing that I want is, and when it actually happens, I probably won't play it, to be honest, but seamless world interaction. Something that I wanted from like Star Wars Battlefront, right? I wanted, and this was supposed to happen when Rebellion had Battlefront 3 under their watch. Spaceship battles going on above, ground battles going on below, both happening simultaneously, and you could have ships go into the atmosphere and go out and participate in these spaceship battles, or you can go back down and go in and participate on these ground battles. So something huge like that, where you have two or three different gameplay styles, and you can participate on a massive scale like that. I now where these types of games consistently go is the persistent war aspect of it.
Yeah, kind of like PlanetSide.
Kind of like PlanetSide, yeah, which is what PlanetSide did. And that's the persistent war is what I don't want. I myself operate better on instanced actions, like round gameplay or something like that. Like let's take the enemy territory of old and say it's just like one game, you have the objective and you're fighting to do it. Have the game take as long as possible. I don't care, but just give me a goal that can end, and you can have a winner and a loser, and you keep going. I lose interest when there's a persistent world and you let's say you win, but the fight never stops.
The war never ends, bro.
Yeah. So I hope like a giant persistent world with multiple gameplay styles is the future. Will I play it? Honestly, probably not, but I do think that it could be something huge. And I feel the next big MMO will probably be in the VR space, because VR has gotten cheaper. Yeah. There's a couple on the rise right now that are nearing.
I feel like we're two fucking salespeople, like just throwing out like buzzwords. You're like, I think the next big thing: VR, AI, MMORPG,
sex dungeon. That's
sex dungeon.
Yeah, that's the real thing. A Combo Wombo sex dungeon in Second Life. You can subscribe. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I think that will be the next big thing that we'll see. And I think the technology's there. It's just going to take. It's going to take a AAA
casting couch.
Yeah, right. It's going to take a AAA studio to bring it there, because you're going to need funds.
I think all those people are in the mobile space right now, trying to put fucking lottery tickets in children's hands.
Yeah.
I think there'll be like enough. There's enough big players like stepping up, trying different things. Like you're saying, like Amazon's trying something. I think PlayStation has like a RPG MMO that they're trying to build that look really cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, there's always people trying for that brass ring, bro. World of Warcraft still holding strong.
Yeah. Will something knock World of Warcraft off the mountaintop, you think?
I think that too many people are too deeply invested in their characters, their guilds, their friendships. Like, people have gotten fucking married. There's people who's been murdered. There's people who've been everything in that fucking game's happened, bro.
True.
Them and Eve, dude. Like,
yeah. I think if the next big thing happens, it'll probably be World of Warcraft 2, if they have a full sequel, after all the expansions. I doubt they will, right? Because you can just make a new expansion. They have a new engine that they're doing, so I doubt they will have a full sequel, but it makes sense.
Interesting to see if they could run things in parallel, where like you could still access the world, but like you have like part 2 and like the game looks like a fucking real game.
Yeah.
But they've kind of always had that stylized, cartoony look since the RTS.
True.
So
let's see how it goes.
I mean, the fucking World of Warcraft movie looked fucking amazing.
So, let's just wrap up here. Do you have any final closing thoughts on the state of MMOs right now?
I want to play them. I wish I had more time, more free time. They're great. I think they're just a possibility space, man. I don't know. They're fun.
Yeah.
I think, like you're saying, a lot of it's like the social aspect. That's huge. I think that's what gives them their charm, is like random weird shit that like other people do.
Yeah. The new organic stories, right? Yeah. Organic storytelling.
If you read The Legendary Mechanic, he calls players the fourth calamity because they're just like doing wild, crazy shit in the world.
Okay.
I don't know. What about you, man? Any closing thoughts on MMOs, like the state of them?
I think that they're good for expanding gaming as a whole. I think that there's so many different options now that you don't have to pigeonhole people in a shooter, in a platformer, in an adventure game, things like that. You can, like, there's so many, there's such different variety that I think MMOs definitely have their place. I do think some of the gambling and casino aspects are inherently scummy. It's not inherent in just MMOs, but I think that their general gameplay design is embellished with that.
As a capitalist, I would say don't buy them and they will stop doing them.
Yeah.
As a real person, I think that they're predatory and they're not going to change until laws happen that forces them to change. True. But overall, I think that it's just one of those things where gaming is one of those things where it's for everyone. You can, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're from. If you have a physical or mental disability or anything like that, pretty much anyone can play a video game. And I think that MMOs are just another avenue to the great medium that we both decided to make a podcast about, so that we both decided to create things in that space. And I think that if MMOs are your jam, keep doing it. Honestly, it's a good thing. I think just playing games it's a good thing in general. But yeah, man, that's we're gonna end it on that one. Find yourself a banjo and have a jamboree.
For sure. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, man, I think that wraps up this episode. This has been the Combo Wombo. Don't forget to subscribe, you bitch.
Yeah,
we'll see you next time.
Follow, subscribe. Peace.